Hey folks, Brendan here with another video to help support you in the police recruitment process. So one of the questions that is often asked at your final interview is, what impact do you feel being a police officer is going to have on your personal life? Now, I've just done some one-to-one coaching with someone who's going for a force that is going to ask this question. And quite honestly, they completely messed it up by giving the answer, which I think they probably got for some book somewhere or something like that, but it's certainly not a helpful one. It's certainly not going to get them the pass they need and get a high score. So before we go into that, a little bit about the welcome to this podcast and video and why you should keep watching this. I'm Brendan from Bluelight, and I've been supporting people just like you to succeed in the police recruitment process now for over 11 years. I've been coaching and supporting people in the police sector for promotion boards, specialist interviews for 26 years now. So there's a lot of experience there, and I don't do anything else. I just do police. That's it. I was a police officer for 3 decades, served in three different forces, worked on a home office attachment, and done all sorts of awesome things since I retired 9 years ago. Can you believe that? 9 years ago now. So what tends to happen when I ask this question, and when people are asked this question in an interview, is they come up with basic stuff. So there's a basic layer of answer around the impact being a police officer is going to have on your personal life. And it tends to revolve around missing parties, not always being able to get the holidays I want, sometimes having to work Christmas, having to work shifts, and having to work late at times. So you never know when you're going to finish. I mean, one of the things I used to do is, if I was working any kind of shift, whether it be early, late shift or night shift, I would arrange nothing socially on any of those days. The only time I arranged anything socially was on a rest day, because I knew that I could either get called in early, or I'd have to work late, or my shifts could change because of something I dealt with in the previous day. There's just no point. So rest days only. Anyway, that's the first layer. That's the first layer of impact being a police officer is going to have on your personal life. Then we move into a second layer, which is around things like mental health, the physical impact. How's it going to impact on your family, emotional stress, and how you're going to manage all of those things. And I go into that in a huge amount of detail in my online course, the online interview course. And by the way, links below, that's where you're going to find all of that information in the links below, whether you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook or anywhere else. Join that course and get a huge insight. I talk about this for so long, give you so much information to consider, because there's so many conundrums to consider here. I'll just give you a flavour of one of them. So it's how the rest of your family is going to react to you being a police officer. So if we're talking about mental health, emotional stress, it's not just emotional stress and mental health issues that you're going to have, and you will have them, you will. Anyone who tries to tell me and tries to persuade me that after 30 years in the police, they've never gone home and cried and either known why or not known why is either a liar or a psychopath or both. Because it is going to have an emotional impact on your life. Trust me, I've been there. I know the retired officers. I know the serving officers. I know hundreds of them. I've spoken to hundreds of them. It's a thing. But the other thing is, how is it going to impact on your family? So one of the things I often talk about is, if you've done a really long night shift and at 4 o'clock in the morning you got called to a sudden death of a 6-month-old, that's going to be upsetting. That's going to be upsetting to you. How do you manage that? When you go home and you speak to your loved ones or your friends and you ask you, so how was your night shift? What do you tell them? Or if you go back to an empty house and you're on your own, how do you manage that? And when you wake up, do you call someone? Because it's still in your mind. It's not going to go away. You don't just switch off, It's not a little button you press when you take your uniform off. Right, uniform off now, I'm fine. No, it doesn't work like that. Hours before, you were dealing with a sudden death of a 6-month-old baby with the grieving family all around you. That doesn't go away. That will probably never go away. That will probably be with you for the rest of your life. And if you're thinking, oh, that's extreme, it'll be rare that you have to deal with that sort of thing. No, it's not. You're dealing with people at the most vulnerable. You're dealing with people when they are going through some of the worst moments of their life on a regular basis, daily. That's what you do. That's your role. That's one of your roles as a police officer. Supporting, helping, enabling, guiding people, dealing with their trauma. There's some research out there that shows that most people will deal with about 3 or 4 traumatic events in their life. As a police officer, you're going to deal with over 500 in your career. What impact is that going to have on you? And then what impact is it going to have on the rest of your family? How are they going to manage that? How are they going to process that? So we look at that because these are important questions, important things for you to talk about at your interview, and more. There's so much more. There's so much more to talk about in level 2. That's a level 2. And it can all sound a bit depressing. It can all sound a bit, oh God, until we get to level 3. That's the awesome part. But I'm going to tease you a little bit there. That's for those of you who are on the interview course. That's for those of you who join my weekly practice webinars, and you can get recordings of over a year's worth of them when you sign up for the interview course with the webinars. Because we look at the third part. It's the third part that raises the spirits. It's the third part that shows them something about you, something about your DNA, something which makes you such an attractive proposition to recruit that they can't say no. Well, they could, because you've got to get all the rest of the questions right. But this one, honestly, and it's true, and if you want to be a police officer, you're going to say it with meaning and passion, and it's going to nail it. Anyway, I'll save that for the webinars. Come and join us. Come and join us. Find out what that third thing is, because it's the third thing that's going to make the difference, I absolutely promise you. Anyway, for the first 2 levels, I hope you've found it useful and helpful. This is about you being your authentic and emotional self in a structured and detailed way. Check the links below, find out more, and I look forward to seeing you on one of those webinars. I'll catch you soon. Bye-bye for now.